Hi, I'm Paul Marsh, and today I'll be talking about how we can write our own bot client. I think this is useful because it gives you an insight about how the underlying framework works, and also gives you the opportunity to write applications that aren't just based around a web browser or web chat control. So what we've got here is a little WPF app, and we're going to be using DirectLine. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you a screenshot of what you need to do to get the DirectLine working. So in here is a little screenshot of my bot. You want to go to the channels, you want to have a DirectLine channel. If you haven't got a DirectLine channel already, go to add a featured channel. Then you want to edit that, and then you can find your keys. You want to do show and grab your keys. And once you've got your keys, then you want to put them inside of your app.config. Sort of squirrel them away in there. And here's just an example because I don't want to show you my secret IDs. So here we have the app settings node. You want to add a key, and here I've called it DirectLine secret, and it will look something like that. So that's an example of the kind of thing you should expect to see. And you also want to put your bot ID in here too. So let's come in here and start using some of this. So we want to get our bot secret. So we can use the configuration manager to do that. App settings, and just make doubly sure we get the right ID. Otherwise things do not work. And here, and the other thing was the bot ID, which you want to keep hold of. So bot ID equals, and we want to grab that as well. So what did I call it? Okay. Oops, taking the value. Don't want to do that. Okay. So that's just that in there. That's great. Create a read only of that. So this bot secret, what we're going to do is to create a bot client with that. So in order to do that, we need to help from NuGet. There's a bit of snow falling off the roof. Bot connector, that will do something like that. Browse. A few choices here, and this is the one we want. Microsoft Bot Connector DirectLine. Install that. Yes. I accept. Okay, so we've got that. So what have we got here? So it wants to be the Microsoft Bot Connector DirectLine client. That's exactly what we want. So we want to keep hold of this as well. So this dot bot client equals a new DirectLine client. What does it take? Credentials or a secret token? Well, we've got a secret token, so that's great. So we can create, ooh, that's spelled very nice. Something there. Client. And also keep hold of that. That's great. So, okay, we've got a client. Now we want to be doing something with that. So over to WPF. We just want to create a very simple grid.row definitions. Create a simple layout. We'll have a top area to put things we can type into. Make that about 100 for now. And then we'll have a bottom layer where we actually put the chat, and that can take up the rest of the screen. That's fine. And we'll put something in it. So let's put a stack panel. We're going to put a text box in there, and we're going to call that user message. And we're going to put a button so you can send something. Button. Don't need to give that a name. Need to give it some content though. Send, and we'll put a simple click handler on it. Won't go down the MVVM route just yet. Won't overcomplicate things. Go to definition. Yeah, that's there. That's great. So that kind of looks really ugly. So let's just tidy that up a bit. Say 40. And give the button a bit of height as well. I know it's only a demo, but come on, that's just too ugly. Horizontal alignment. Left. That's too tight. Give it a width of, I don't know, what should we say, 100? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and now we're going to put something on the screen. So let's do text block. Give this a name though. Call it chat. And give it a horizontal alignment of stretch, a vertical alignment of stretch. And give it some sort of background color so we can see it. Should we call it beige? And that's obviously in the wrong place. So grid.row equals 1. Right, so that's our amazing UI sorted out. So let's go and do something with it. So we've created a bot client, and now we want to sort of do something with it. And because this is WPF, what we want to make sure of is that the controls are all loaded before we start trying to use them. So let's just have a little look-see here, create a new loaded window. And because this is WPF, we're going to be on the UI thread, and we don't want to be doing this on the UI thread. So I'll just do a quick factory start new. It's going to be an async call, I think we're going to make. If I can type the word async in. Async. I seem to be having massive trouble spelling today. Okay. Right, now we want to do something with the client. So I'm going to do bot client dot conversations. We're going to start a conversation. Just to wait on that. I think particularly interesting. So that's going to start the conversation with the bot client, but we want to do something with it. So we want to start. We're going to do polling. Now, polling isn't a great technique, but it's one we're going to use with a direct channel. So polling bot. Let's just call it that. Create that. Okay. So as with all good polling, we're just going to do a while true in here. And then we're going to do await task delay. Oops, make that async. I'm starting to see errors popping up. Async, what have I done wrong here? Missing bracket. So we're going to wait for a second before we poll again. So that's the main function of that. So we've got to poll on that conversation. So what we're going to do, oh, I know what I've done wrong there. This start conversation equals that. So it brings us back a conversation when we start one. We'll keep hold of that. So this dot conversation, we can, oh no, thought it was conversation. This dot bot client, conversations, get activities async. Aha, so we want to get the activation. This is where we want to use our conversation. And we want to pass in the conversation ID. We'll leave it just at that for now. So var, what does this return? This returns an activity set. So an activity set equals, we'll wait on that. So that has activities in it. activities equals an activity set dot activities. And then we're just going to do a for each over that. So with each activity in the activities, we're going to form up a message. So let's just call that. We're going to put in here. Well, we want to put the message in. I would think that's going to be a pretty crucial one. So text of the activity. And let's put some other things that we might be interested in seeing to understand what's going on with bots. So we want to look at the from ID and what else? Well, we know that the channel is going to be DirectLine. We know that. What else? Oh, let's put the. What else should we put in here? Conversation ID. Perhaps put the conversation ID in there, just to be doubly sure. Okay. Now we want to put that to the screen. So add message to chat. It's not going to be an async call, I don't think. So we'll just generate that. Now, because it's WPF and because we have come off the UI thread, we now need to come back onto the UI thread in order to add our messages to the screen. So application current, to use a dispatcher, and we're going to just create an action for that. And I think we called it. We use like a method. What? Current dispatch. Oh, yes. Invoke. And we want to. I think we called it chat, didn't we? So chat.text. We'll just do a simple add. It's message. Yeah, that sounds like it could be. In fact, what we'll do in here is we'll put the fact that it's coming from the bot. Have a little line in there. Just put some spacing at the end of that. Okay, so is that all going to work? Any bugs? Let's run it. Let's see what happens. I mean, obviously, we'd put code in here to gracefully stop this, but let's see what's happening. So we're starting up. We should be starting a conversation, making a connection. We have. So now the bot is replying, and it's giving us the same message a lot of times. So that doesn't sound right. So what's going on there? So what's happening here is this get activities on this conversation is it doesn't really know as a reader when I'm joining the conversation. Am I joining it right at the beginning of the conversation, or are other people already in the conversation? So it's got this concept of a watermark. It's kind of a bit odd. I think it's a bit odd, but there we go. It's that's the name they've given it. So let's just create a watermark token here. You'll see this kind of tokenization of paging a lot, and it's used here. So we just put a watermark in, and then when we get our activity set back, we update the watermark. Activity set watermark. So this is like a sort of movement pointer. So when we do a first conversation, our watermark is null. It means go right back to the beginning of the conversation, give you the details. And as we start reading them, we start getting our watermark, i.e. our point in time within the conversations. So hopefully now when we run, we should get our welcome message, and that's it, it's waiting. Great. So we seem to be communicating with our bot. So now we need to do a bit of work on the button press. So as you may already know from doing other bot work, is we want to create an activity. So var user message equals new activity. And what do we want to put in an activity? Well, we want to put our message, right? So text equals, what do we call our, is it user message dot text? Yeah. So we want to put that in there. We want to tell it what the message type is. type activity dot message. Oops. Oh, well, activity types, please. Message. Better. And now, crucially, we need to tell it who it's from. So from, what is from? From's a channel account. So new channel account. So we could create this once. So it's just a name. So we just call it Paul. That is me. That's who I am. And then we want to send it. So I think this is going to be on the bot client. Bot client got conversations. Is it post or post? Excellent, just like it is in the web chat. Conversation ID. Well, this is our conversation ID again, and the activity, which is our user message. So that's just a synchronous call. Nothing you have to do there. So what's going to happen now? So we're going to start up. We're going to get our welcome message because we're starting the conversation again. Yeah. So welcome to, which is Hivebot. That's coming from the Hivebot bot, and there's our conversation ID there. So now we're going to say hello. Now something interesting has happened here. So you'll see that my message hello has come on the screen, and there was a pause. But the actual message hello has come as the bot. Excuse me. And then the bot replies with, you said hello. And interesting, you see that the from here is from me, so it knows it's from me, and then it's from the Hivebot. So it's got both parts of the conversation and the activity. Now we don't want to do that. So if we're going to be a bit more like a bot, what we should be doing here is putting in our message here. So we should be saying add message to bot, and then we want to put in, we want to format up our message a bit better. So we want to say user, and we're going to put in our message, which is the user text, and put in our lines. But equally on the way back, so now we know that the activity also includes the activity of the user. We don't want to be seeing that in here, so what we can do is we can get those activities and we can filter that out. So we've got the activity, we know the from ID, and we know that it should be from the bot, and we know the bot ID because we store that away. So now we should be filtering out only the messages. We'll only say bot if it comes from the bot, and we'll be saying that it's the user message before we send it, because that's, we don't want the waiting, the delay between actually getting the reply back. We want to show to the user that we have actually pressed send. So let's run that up again. So we should get our welcome message again. Yeah, type in hello. So we immediately get hello out, and now we don't get the additional thing from the bot. It just says the bot said hello. That's great. So we can just say, nice to see you. And now the conversation, as far as the bot's concerned, is continued. It's got a little conversation echo counter here, so it knows it's a second message, and it's responded to us. It said, you said nice to see you. So we now have a working WPF bot client using DirectLine, and you can now use that in other activities. I should also mention that WPF is quite a good client. There is a card adapter renderer, so you can have a much richer experience in here than just simply text. But hopefully you can see that from this basis we can see a lot more about how the channels come together, how you talk to it, what's actually happening with the activities internally, and you can use this to write your own clients in whatever language you want. Thank you.